well. Mike's a Man United fan. Wants to talk about Cavani. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. Another great show as usual.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. What do you want to say about Edinson Cavani?
Oh, unbelievable. You know, I've watched him when he's playing in Europe, and I think he was a bit treated poorly at the back end of his career at PSG. But what he's going to do for the club, both on and off the field, you know, helping the youngsters and helping with the movement, like Greenwood, it's going to be unbelievable.
He is amazing, isn't he? Why do you think he's not started more games? Is it just a fitness thing, or were there doubts about him, do you think?
It was well documented that he came with a little bit of an injury. And everyone knows that the Premiership's the most difficult league to get used to. So I think it was good man management for Ollie, personally, just to ease him in and get him used to it, and then just develop it as he goes, really.
He's done well, hasn't he, Edinson Cavani? James, a Liverpool fan, what do you want to say?
Good evening, gentlemen. Just again saying about Edinson Cavani, I actually phoned up at the start of the season and I said that he was one of the best signings of the entire transfer window. The reason being that we all know what Edinson Cavani can do. We've all seen what he did at the 2014 World Cup to England when him and Luis Suarez tore that England team apart. And in terms of everything he's done at every club he's been at, he is incredibly intelligent. For me, outside of Robert Lewandowski, who obviously is on an island on his own, he has the best movement of any striker in the world, and I include Harry Kane in that as well. Edinson Cavani is a great learning tree for those players, young players like Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford to be sitting under. This is a huge boon for Manchester United to hold on to this player and develop those youngsters around him.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any question. When he signed, I thought it was a good signing. I thought he had to start as soon as he came. I think there must have been doubts about his fitness. I said that. I don't know what it was like, how many fixtures he played before he came over, Aid, but he was mainly starting on the bench, wasn't he? A lot of games. So whether he wasn't up to scratch fitness-wise after the testing they do at the start of the year, and he's gradually brought him along, but his movement, he goes everywhere. He goes from the right to the left, he cuts inside, he's a yard in front of everyone else all the time, and his finishing, once he gets one-on-one, he's out of this world.
Yeah, there's a lot of little stats that tell you a little bit more about the attitude and the character. So no player scored more Premier League goals as a sub in a single season for Man United than Edinson Cavani. So if he's left on the bench, he's still professional enough to have the right attitude. And the Roma tie, the semi-final, incredible. 8 goals Man United scored. He was involved in 7 of the 8. I think the doubts were PSG are letting him go on a free, so what do they know? They've had the player. Then he went to South America, and we all thought he was going to stay there. And Man United signed him. So there was obviously, I think some people had some questions. Let's see how he gets on. But he's always been a stellar striker. It was just whether his best days were behind him. Clearly not.
What about PSG letting go Thiago Silva, Champions League final with Chelsea, and played a big part in it, and then Cavani, Europa League final with Manchester United?
Well, to be fair, I think they thought they had enough with Marquinhos at the back, Mbappe and Neymar up front, but it's obviously not worked out. Chris, a Man United fan, what do you want to say? You're on talkSPORT.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Great show as always.
Cheers.
Just addressing a couple of the questions that you've been asking. I still think United will be 6 to 10 points behind Liverpool and City next year. I don't think Liverpool can be anywhere near as bad as they have been this year. And I think Man City will invest in a striker which will put them even further in front than where they are now. With regards to transfer options for United, I agree we need a central midfielder, Declan Rice material. I think we need a right winger. Otherwise, Mason Greenwood is going to get stuck on that right wing. And then with regards to centre-halves, I actually think we need 2, because I don't think Harry Maguire's good enough to be a European Cup winner or a Premier League winner. I think he's a decent Premier League centre-half, but when he comes up against pace, and he will come up against pace in the games that matter, he's not good enough. It was only Watkins had him, and he got booked for it. It's only because Watkins got himself sent off, I think, that Maguire was lucky to be on the pitch after the Villa game. But I do genuinely believe that centre-forwards will pick on Harry Maguire should we invest in a pacey centre-back.
Wow, I'm amazed at that. A player that's played all season where Manchester United have gone a good run. Solskjaer showed faith in him. He's relied upon him at Manchester United, you actually are in a European final.
Second in the league.
And second in the league. I don't know where you're coming from with it. I think what you've got to do is find the centre-half to go with him that's got pace and is better than what you've got in backup, whether it be Tuanzebe, whether it be Bailly, whether it be Lindelof. It's the backup you need at the side of him.
You think? Even if United sign a world-class centre-half, I don't even know which names we're being mentioned with, to be honest with you, but we get a pacey centre-half, they're not going to be Ferdinand and Vidic quality, are they? They're not going to be like what you've got over the road with Stones and Diaz, or Laporte, Diaz and Stones. So how is that Premier League Championship winning material?
Well, hang on, go back a bit further, and I would, pace-wise, Harry Maguire is Steve Bruce, and he won titles with Manchester United. Listen, if you're spot on, Goffey, you get the right partner alongside Harry Maguire, somebody with pace, because you're right, Chris, he hasn't got pace. I think even he would admit that. But Harry Maguire is without doubt good enough for Manchester United. When he got the knock yesterday and went down and went off, I actually said out loud, that's a disaster. If he's out of the Euros, it's a disaster for England. People do not realise. What you've been listening to, there's some people who've got a narrative about Harry Maguire.
It's the price. It's the biggest
The price is obviously one of them, but Leicester fans who've been banging on about how he wouldn't get in their team. They've been talking about how he would be their fourth choice if he was still at Leicester. Well, we saw what they're like when Evans drops out on Friday night. Fofana couldn't cope. Soyuncu couldn't cope. Harry Maguire walks into that team, even if Evans is fit. So they're talking nonsense because there's a player that's left their football club and they don't like players.
Same as did about their left back as well.
Exactly. Harry Maguire's the real deal. You just need somebody with pace alongside. I mean, if he doesn't play at the back for Manchester United, he wins the ball in the air, he blocks, he clears, he wins one-on-ones, he intercepts, he can pass the ball. I mean, you're thinking about something he can't do, which is run very fast, but there's loads of things he can do, and Man United need that in a centre-half. They just need another quick one. This is talkSPORT.